Okay. Just going to check a few things here. Um, got my lovely cat. It's working from home today in my living room. Kids are at school. Just want to make sure my link is working. Oh, it's been a while since I've done a live video, and every single time I go to do a live video, Facebook, Instagram, everybody keeps changing their settings on me. So it's always a little bit of a complication. So welcome. My name is Victoria Jones. I am the owner and founder of Fraser Valley Lash Academy. So today I put together a really great slideshow. I wanted to share with you about how to set your pricing going into 2026. Okay, we are living in a chaotic time right now with the increases of prices. If you're living in the US, then you're going to start seeing tariffs being applied to your stock orders pretty soon. Okay, so I really want to take this time right now. We're kind of in between seasons. And go over your prices and make sure that you are pricing your services effectively. Okay, so let's get this slideshow a little bit bigger. There we go. So you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so first things first, if you have any sort of questions or comments or something about what I'm presenting to you today, feel free to just leave a comment in the notes in the comment section of wherever you're seeing this video, and I will be more than happy to help them answer them that way. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a NELA accredited lash artist. I am a certified lash educator through Fix Beauty and NELA. So dual certified lash educator. I also have a diploma in business management and a really strong background in pricing and accounting. Okay, I was in the corporate world for about 17 years before I started to kind of branch off, go on my own. I recreated my whole career, and now I am a lash artist and educator doing this full time. And over the years, I've noticed the pricing in our industry it varies so different from one lash tech to another. So I really wanted to kind of do a really deep dive and discover why this varies so much. Of course, it's going to be different kind of based on where you are doing your services from, where you're purchasing your products from, and what type of products you're using. Okay, so for the agenda today, we're going to go over a little bit about strategy. I want you to discover the standard rates in your area and consider your costs. We're going to go over some 3 key factors that you do need to consider when you are pricing yourself effectively. And that's going to lead right into discussing the different studio tiers. Okay, so I've kind of divided it into 3 different tiers, and I will go over that, and hopefully it'll help you decide where you do land when it comes to setting your prices, if you should be on the higher end or the lower end and whatnot. And if you are on the higher end and you think maybe you're overpricing, I'm going to let you know what to do and go from there. We're also going to go over internal costs. So you're going to have some homework after today, and you're going to gather a list of all of your costs, and including the wage that you want to pay yourself. And you're going to take those numbers and plug them into the spreadsheet that I'll have available for you. Okay, so the spreadsheet is going to be available. I already posted it in my alumni group and my free lash class group. And if you are not in either of those groups and you signed up for the mailing list, I will send you a copy once we are done the video. Okay, so the last thing is going to be finally setting your prices. Okay, so with the spreadsheet that I am going to be providing you, it's going to allow you to put in your costs and your hourly wage and how long it takes you to do that service. And it's going to provide you with a suggested rate. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the rate that you have to be using, but definitely if you don't want to be losing money in the next year, you should be around the suggested price according to that spreadsheet. So first off, for the strategy, there is a term in the marketing and pricing world called benchmarking. Okay, benchmarking is when you look around at others in your area who are offering the same service and considering what they are charging. When you decide to go and set your own prices. Okay, so if Susie's Lash Salon down the road is charging $125 for a lash set, compared to Mrs. Jones down the road, and she's only charging $65 for a full lash set. Use those two, high end and a low end, and kind of benchmark where they're sitting based on the studio tiers that I'm going to be providing for you later on in the slideshow here. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and along with that is going to be tracking your expenses. Now, this can be kind of a hassle, but it is a very important tool that you need to have under your belt. And you really do need to understand your costs. So everything that it takes to run your business. So using a tool like QuickBooks, that's something that I use, and it makes my life so much easier at the end of the year when I have to go file my income tax reports and GST reports and everything. Because a tool like QuickBooks, you can actually just, as you are purchasing products, you can snap your receipts in, and then you can go in and it's going to upload and provide reports for you. Okay, so that's one thing that I suggest. Let's see here. What else? So basically, when you're tracking your expenses, it's going to be everything that you use to run your business. Okay, so expenses is also going to be your rent, your cell phone bill, your high-level disinfectants, everything. So you do need to keep track of how much you're spending on a monthly basis, and go from there. Know your worth. Okay, so this is really important and super hard for us often to establish because we tend to undervalue ourselves. Okay, so I want you to, after this video and the slides, kind of take a moment with yourself and review your skills and your business and clearly identify what makes you unique and sets you apart from other lash artists in your area. Okay, so something could be your unique process. Now, do you provide a hot towel service? Do you provide blankets and bolsters for your client? Have you spent lots of time making your service area beautiful? Right, so those little things are things that really up your worth, so that you're able to provide a little bit higher value for yourself. And then setting your prices. Setting your prices. Okay, so we're going to create 2 or 3 pricing tiers, kind of depending where you're at in your lash business. So of course, we're all going to have a classic and a hybrid and a volume. And providing the client with 3 different pricing tiers allows them to have options based on their budget and their needs. Okay. So it allows your customers to really self-select so that you can attract a wider range of clients while still offering a high-end solution. So 3 elements of consideration when you are setting your prices and understanding your worth. Number 1 is going to be investment. Number 2 is expertise. Number 3 is the client experience. Now, when it comes to your investment, this is going to be things that you need to consider when you took your certification course. Did you have to travel somewhere? How much was the tuition? Did you lose any wages during that amount of time, etc.? Okay, so like for myself, I went to Calgary to take my lash educator course. That required me to take 5 days off of work and put a lot of money out for travel and accommodation. As well as the course, right? So that's one thing that I consider when I put the pricing together for my certification courses. Now, have you also taken additional training such as volume, online classes, maybe a in-person styling course, or a handmade fan making course? Those kind of things, right? So those kind of things is really going to elevate your status within the industry. So that's going to, again, raise your self-worth when it comes to putting a dollar figure down. So do you have stock on hand for your clients, like lash shampoo and growth serums? So that is going to be another kind of an internal investment, and you are offering this as a service to your client. So that they don't have to go online, pay for shipping, and have to do the shopping on their own. You are already going to be providing it to them. So again, that's going to be elevating you when it comes to your investment. And lastly, time spent on learning. Practicing creating that inviting space, researching and studying your profession. So all of this is going to give you higher expertise, where you're going to be able to charge a little bit more money than someone who maybe hasn't spent that time and put this amount of investment into themselves and their business. For expertise, you do want to consider how long you've been doing lashes for and how many sets within this time. Okay, so it's very common. People can sit there and say, oh, I've been doing lashes for a full year. I know what I'm doing. But in reality, they've only done maybe 4 or 5 sets on a human and a couple lash fills during that time. Okay. Or there could be the person that can say, I've been doing lashes for 1 year, and they have a lot of regular clients. They're working their business full time. They do at least maybe 2 to 3 full sets a month. Okay, so that's where the expertise comes in. It's not always the amount of time. Sometimes the amount of time does also come into factors. So someone who has been a seasoned lash artist, of course, they're going to have gone through all the different seasons. They've seen some transitions within the industry. Okay, so someone who learned 10 years ago as opposed to someone who's learning today is going to have been taught differently. Okay, so also, have you worked with many types of lashes and been able to solve problems like with the curly lashes or porous lashes? So they tend to be more difficult lashes. So that's something that you do want to consider when it comes to evaluating your expertise. And are you able to identify different eye shapes and know what types of curls that are going to work with each client? So a lot of people really struggle with hooded and monolid eyes. Now there is a special certain curl to be used on them and certain design that is going to help pop their eyes open as opposed to making them look a little bit more maybe tired and droopy, right? So are you someone who is able to solve those problems for your client? If so, then your expertise level is going to be a little bit higher than someone who maybe hasn't taken an advanced styling course and doesn't really understand how to mix curls, which curls to use, or maybe they just use the same curl on each client, which it's not bad. Okay. So, but again, that's where you're going to be evaluating yourself and being able to set your price per hour when it comes to working on the spreadsheet. Okay. So when it comes to client experience, okay, so this is another thing that is really, really going to make you stand out when it comes to setting up your lash business and people bragging about you. So what type of experience are you offering for your clients? How easy is it for them to book an appointment? Okay, now do you have an online booking service available to them, or do they have to wait for the next morning until you are answering phone calls and take phone calls over the phone? A lot of people like myself, I work all day long. Sometimes I don't get home till 9:30 at night. So it's really convenient for me to have to book online my services with my wax technician, my hair consultant, all that kind of things. I like to do later at night, and I don't always like to have to bug that person. So having an online booking tool is a really good addition to providing excellent customer service. Now, is your service area comfortable and visually appealing? Do you have kind of like a floral theme to it, or is it just white walls and kind of plain? Is it pleasantly aesthetically pleasing? And how do you greet your clients upon their arrival? Okay, that's another thing to consider when it comes to the client experience. Now, if you're in a salon, are they just automatically greeted by someone at the door, or are they being greeted by you just sitting behind your lash chair, getting things ready, just kind of briefly saying hello and telling them to sit down? Okay, so the way how a client is greeted is really going to set them up for how they are going to feel about the service and their level of trust with you. So what else do you offer clients for when it comes to expertise, energy, skills, etc.? And how do you prove your credibility? Do you have your certificates hanging on the wall in the background? Do you have your health inspection approval certificate available for them to just glance over as they're doing the checkout? Do you have a business license? If so, it should be on the wall for your clients to see. So any of this kind of stuff is going to prove your credibility and enhance the client experience, because now they are just automatically feeling a little bit more at peace with you, and you are raising the bar for setting your prices at a higher tier. So when it comes to studio tiers, so this part I've actually been influenced by Levi Shepherd, which was the founder of Nala. So this is kind of where she helped me set myself up in my business with some goals, how I could achieve a higher tier so I could charge the better prices, where we make more money as lash artists. So this tier setup is hopefully will help you identify where you're currently sitting at with your studio, and help you identify some goals so that you can reach down the road when you consider doing a future price increase. So a third tier studio, this is going to be a studio, salon, home-based, could be a public salon, doesn't really matter. But generally, the third tier studio is going to be someone who has recently certified lash technicians available with little experience. Okay, so they are producing good results. and maintaining all regulations and a clean work area. Um, they're providing great customer service. And these third tier studios generally have a little bit of social media online presence. Maybe they just post one thing a week, just showing their work. And that's how they like to promote their business and accept new client requests for bookings. And generally, third tier studio is someone who is still building their clientele. Second tier studio, it's kind of just a step above the third tier studio. So this is when the staff are qualified and well trained. Okay, so those are going to be those seasoned lash artists that have been working for a while. Usually, hopefully by now, you'll have some sort of website that is somewhat easy for clients to navigate and possibly offer booking on. They have great customer service. They maintain a very clean and attractive studio that meets all health regulations for their area. They offer sufficient time slots for each service. So one thing that we make a mistake as a beginner is not allowing enough time for us to complete the full sets or their fills, and our clients are not leaving with the full set. Okay, so compared to a third tier studio, second tier studio, now at this point, you are providing the full service, creating great results, and you have some really good positive reviews that you share on your social media. And maybe you have a Google business profile by now where people can leave their feedback there. Or maybe you've set up a Yelp account. Okay, so by now, as a second tier studio, these are some key pointers that you can kind of slide yourself into. So you're no longer a third tier, you are second tier. All these tiers are great. Okay. So, but it's just to kind of help you identify the difference between someone who's charging the lower price compared to the higher price. Okay, now the top tier studio. So these are going to be the studios that are charging the higher end price in your area. So at this point, the staff are qualified, they're experienced and accredited. Okay, so they've gone through the accreditation process. They've had a third party look at their area and their techniques and make sure everything is being done safely and efficiently. And at this point, the lash artist is still continuing to learn the latest trends. So whether you've been in the industry for 1 year or 5 years, at this level, you should still be taking the time to do some online courses, maybe brush up on some of your skills when it comes to maybe Russian volume or something. Right, so you're going to be continually learning the latest trends. Okay, top tier studio is generally going to be well branded with elite clientele. So at this point, they're usually no longer offering discounted services or promotions because they have their clientele that keeps them busy enough from week to week, day to day. And yeah, so that's what elite clientele is you've already established that clients that keep your business running. So they at this point they also will have a website that is easy to navigate and offers a simple booking process. Okay, so this would be a website that is branded. Okay, it's not going to be a third-party website that you pay a membership for. It's going to be your own website. Hopefully it's got, an About Me section, maybe showing off your certificates and all the services that you offer. And their areas are clinically clean. So they clinically clean means that they are going above and beyond the set standard health regulations. Okay, so like for in my area, our health department doesn't require us to be using gloves while we're doing our services. Okay, for myself, because I'm an accredited lash artist at this point, I make sure I always am protecting myself and my clients by using by wearing gloves. Okay, so that's going above and beyond. Okay, or for example, if maybe your health authority doesn't require a high level disinfectant for you to be sanitizing your tools in, maybe it's just a barbicide level. Now, if you have taken any sort of infection prevention control for the lash industry course, you're going to know that barbicide is not a highest level of disinfectant to kill the mucous membrane. So you should be also, even though the health department doesn't require it, you should be adding that high level disinfectant such as CS20. A few more considerations for the top tier studio is offering the highest quality of lash and brow services. Okay, so you're no longer buying your products through Amazon or low grade products. At this point, you're offering the highest quality. You're buying the best glue. You are buying the best, highest quality PBT fibers to be making those lashes with. You provide extended time slots for all clients to ensure amazing results for each client, every client. Okay, so for example, sometimes a busy lash artist wants to fit in a few more people during the day. So they're only going to book 1 hour for a client or an hour and 15 minutes, whatever it is. However, sometimes clients show up and they need a little bit more work. Maybe they needed a little bit extra time to take the makeup off because they just came from work. Or maybe they just had a lash shed and they require an extra 15, 20 minutes of time. Now, if you automatically book extended time slots, you're not going to be stressed out. They're still going to be leaving with amazing results, and they're not going to have to come back in a few days to see you again to ensure that their set is back to full again, right? So you're always going to stand by a full satisfaction guarantee at this point. Okay. And often top tier studios offer additional goodies for clients, such as text reminders, aftercare kits. Okay. Maybe you've got a little snack bar or something. All those little things is going to elevate where you sit in the industry and bring you a little bit higher up so that you can charge more money and be making more money in your lash business. Now, going into internal costs here, I'm just going to grab a sip of water. Okay. Okay, so for internal costs, now being a lash artist, we know that a lot of our main products are fairly inexpensive. It's a very low cost service to be providing, which is where we need to consider all these other factors when it comes to pricing our clients. Okay. Because if you're going to be continuing your education and growing as a lash artist and eventually hopefully getting into a private space, you are going to need to be able to afford all these extra things. Okay. So first thing that you're going to do, you can take this offline afterwards and go back through the slides and kind of piece out where each cost is going to sit on the spreadsheet that I'm going to provide you with. So knowing your costs from everything from all the supplies to your cell phone bill to the rent is really, really important. And I highly recommend that you provide yourself a yearly review on the internal costs of your business so that your prices are where they should be. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to list all the products that you use to complete the service. Okay, there's going to be 2 different sections. You're going to have a variable cost, you're going to have your monthly fixed costs. Now, things that are variable costs are things that are going to be different from client to client, and sometimes they're the products that you're repurchasing on a monthly basis. Okay. And often these prices are going to go up, especially this time of day and age in our industry. It seems like every time I go on and place a new order for lash glue or lashes, either the shipping price has gone up or the product itself has gone up about $1 or $2. I know it's only a little bit, but every little bit counts, right? And it's going to take up our profit margin at the end of the day. So things like lash trays, your glue, lash shampoo, primer, your PPE equipment, the disposable gloves, your face masks, your high-level disinfectant, under eye pads, lash wands, all those are variable costs, okay? And then your monthly fixed costs is going to be everything that you pay just kind of on the regular month to month. So you have a studio that you work out of, you're going to have rent. Okay. Along with that is generally going to be also maybe internet fees, or you're going to have an electricity bill. Advertising is a monthly fixed cost as well, right? So if you are boosting those ads online, or maybe you pay for a ad in the local paper, okay, that's going to be a monthly fixed cost. Website fees, or if you've got that QuickBooks program, you're going to be paying a monthly fixed cost. So all these things is going to need to be put into the bottom line when you are considering how to set up your pricing. Okay. Insurance. Okay. So that's another one. Okay. That is going to be a huge variable when it comes to comparing one lash artist price with another. Okay. So some people pay on the monthly basis, maybe $24 or $60 a month for insurance. Whereas someone like myself, I pay closer to about $200 a month. And that has to do with my location. Okay, so all these things need to be factors into how you're setting your pricing, and understanding your worth. Okay, so when you're setting your price, you do need to consider offering everything as a whole package. Okay, underpricing in fear of not getting clients is never a good idea. Okay, back up your prices by proving yourself, by showing your expertise, your skills, your experience, show off your space, show your integrity, and work with a code of ethics, right? Each client is going to be taking up your time. Time equals energy, right? So whether it's in person or even just booking them online, from the moment that they book an appointment with you, they are taking up your time and your energy. So all these things need to be considered when you're setting yourself up for successful pricing. Okay, so this is just a little screenshot of how the pricing sheet is going to look. So basically, you're going to use the top part is going to be a list of your variable costs. The bottom part is going to be your fixed costs. Okay. I'm going to, hopefully I can share my screen and kind of show you how it's going to work. I'll show you kind of where I'm going to be sitting out with my prices for full sets and for fills. Okay. And then you can kind of take the spreadsheet, plunk in your own numbers, and kind of see where you fall, and go from there. Okay, so first of all, we're going to add up all the variable costs per client. Okay, and then you're going to add up your monthly fixed costs and divide that by the number of clients that you have on average per month, which is going to be your monthly fixed cost per client. Okay, so according to this spreadsheet, my fixed cost is $1,505 for all my monthly fixed costs. Okay, that doesn't count for my products used, which are being integrated at the top of the spreadsheet there. Okay, so average monthly clients. So you can go back through your booking system and just kind of see how many clients you normally take on average, okay, throughout a 365 calendar month. Okay, so I figured it out. It's about $120 clients. So you're going to take that monthly fixed cost, divide it by how many clients that you take on average, and that's going to give you your fixed cost per client, which works out to, on this spreadsheet, $12.54. And then that just automatically feeds into the spreadsheet above. And then you want to also consider your hourly wage. Okay, so this is where it's really going to, I know we don't work by the hour, we work per client, but this was the only way how I could really put it into the spreadsheet in terms that made most sense for myself and hopefully for everybody else. So this is where you're going to consider your studio tier and your worth as a lash artist, right? Your skills, your environment, all those things that you can't really put a price tag to. That's where you're going to be considering your hourly wage. So someone who maybe isn't up to code yet with their health regulations, and you just took a course, you just got certified, you're not quite completing full sets yet, your hourly rate is going to be a little bit lower than someone who has been completing full sets for the last 4 or 5 years. They've got a beautiful space that's branded, welcoming for their client, and they have online booking tools available, et cetera, right? So when you are defining your wage, you do need to consider the national average for an hourly rate. Now, I just Googled this last night. So this is current. Kind of a little bit of a surprise to me because I haven't been working out like in the corporate world or anywhere for about 5 years now. I've been on my own. So the average wage in Canada as of April 2025 is $36 per hour. Okay, so now minimum wage varies from province to province. Now I'm in British Columbia and minimum wage is sitting on the higher end of $17 an hour. Some people are getting paid 18 something an hour. Okay, so if you are thinking $15 an hour is enough for you, it's not. Okay, that's way too low. Okay, so you should be pricing yourself as a lash artist. The lowest price I would consider is maybe $25 an hour. Okay, and I don't even like saying that. I would like to see you up near the $30 per hour. Okay, because you've taken a lot of time to learn your skills. You're still working at it, even if you're not perfect yet. That's fine. Becoming a qualified confident lash artist takes time, okay? And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to get there. So make sure you are pricing yourself what you're worth, okay? Do not be giving yourself $15 an hour wages, okay? Because that's way below what anybody's making in Canada these days. Now, if you're in the US, you're going to have to go out and maybe do some online research and figure out what the wages are in your area. And kind of go from there, right? So on the spreadsheet, I just priced out a classic lash set. This is going to be the fills price as $30, as you can see. And then, of course, I kind of upped the wage kind of based on the amount of skill that's required. Okay. Somehow my mic got muted. I was kind of freaking out there for a second. So if you're still following along, thank you for being patient. Okay. Um, so going on to the next section here. So setting your prices based on what you're worth is really what you do need to focus on. You need to focus on your value and the results that you promise. So shift your mindset away from those personal feelings of guilt of being too much and view pricing as a decision that's going to sustain your livelihood while acknowledging that undercharging is going to hurt your credibility and can lead to a cycle of underestimation. Okay, so know your numbers and lead with value. Okay, to calculate a profitable rate, you need to understand your business and your lifestyle goals, then a budget to understand what you need to charge to be able to meet them. Okay, so if you're only charging, a very low amount for your lash fills and your lash sets, most likely it's not going to be able to sustain you to be a full-time working lash artist, right? So when you market your services, focus on the transformation and the benefits that you offer your clients rather than just the tasks that you're performing. Okay. And this helps really justify a higher price point. So, first off, what you would do if once you figured this out and you've decided that you need to get your prices a little bit more higher, you want to start off right away by applying those new prices um, for all new clients. Okay, so right away, clear your lash menu, put the new prices in. You don't necessarily have to make this as an announcement online or anything. I would just do it right away. Like these hair salons, they don't always tell us when they're raising their prices and to book your appointments and stuff, right? So just go ahead and just change your prices. You don't have to make an announcement. If you do, sometimes that can actually deter clients away as opposed to letting them, like giving them an incentive to book right away. Instead, raise your prices and offer a discount meeting that old price. So let's say your prices for classic lash sets is sitting at $90. It's been $90 for the last 5 years. And you want to raise it to be $100 or $110. Go ahead, raise it to $110, offer a $30 discount until the end of October, okay, for all new clients. That way they're seeing the new prices and you're still offering a promotion and getting those clients in that maybe would have booked, at that lower price. Now, when talking to existing clients, this can sometimes be an awkward conversation. So you can just start off by maybe offering them a higher price service, such as an upgrade from classic lashes to the new YY or W lashes, which should be generally a little bit of a higher price. Okay. For people who maybe don't want to try something new, they love what they've got, you're going to want to practice having that conversation ahead of time. Okay, take a moment, take half an hour or whatever you want, write down, put yourself in the client's shoes and write down a script of what you would like to hear if you were in that position of the client. Okay, so how would you like to hear that the price is going to be going up for your regular service, whether it's $2 or $5 or 10 cents? It doesn't really matter. A price increase is a price increase. So rehearse what you're going to say to build confidence in yourself. After that discussion, allow for a pause after stating your price to give the client a chance to respond. Okay, silence can really do a lot of the work for you. Now, if you are someone who has maybe kind of just realized that you are charging a little bit too much, maybe that's why you haven't been getting as many clients. Not really too sure. But don't slash your prices, okay? So if you feel like your price is too high, this is a really good time to consider adding more value to your services, okay? Such as adding a lash bath or a hot towel service or even a snack counter or something extra. Rather than lowering the price itself, add value, okay? Set some goals to raise your lash salon tier status to that higher level. Continue your education within the industry by taking online courses and attending some advanced training courses. Yes, don't lower your prices. Just do something to add more value to yourself. Okay, so now lastly, this is kind of everything that's in a nutshell here. When you're going to go set your prices, remember your strategy. Okay, discover what the going rate is in your area and keep track of all of your costs. Consider these factors: investment, your expertise, and the client experience when looking at that price per hour that you should be charging yourself, valuing yourself at. What do you offer clients who choose to come to you versus another lash artist? That's setting a value for your business. And then the cost per client, that's the CPC. So reviewing your costs regularly, at least once per year, is going to help keep you on track with your financial goals and ensure that you're charging the best price for both you and your client. Okay, so thank you for joining me today. These are some ways that you can get a hold of me. My phone is always on 604-330-6026. If you want to text or hop on a call with me, there's my email address, info@fvlashacademy.com. And my website is www.fvlashacademy.com. So there you can access all of my products that I carry, and any sort of information on my upcoming trainings. Oh, one last thing, I was going to run over the spreadsheet if I can share my screen here. Okay, so I'm going to let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so this is what the spreadsheet looks like. For full sets. Okay, so I've plugged in my, okay, so how I figured out my lash trays, what you're going to see up at the top here, I've got the cost per tray is $21.99 if you want to look at the side here. And I've discovered that one mixed lash tray, I usually get about 3 clients. That's if it's a 16-row tray. Of course, there's going to be extra product in there, but I'm actually able to probably do about 3 full lash sets. So that brings my cost per tray to about $7.33 per client. So that's how I got that. And you can kind of see the formula up top here. Now I just kind of ballpark these prices: adhesive, iPad, spoolies, micro brushes, primer. Of course, this was a very quick spreadsheet. I forgot things like my PPE and whatnot, that the gloves and masks and things like that. But if you do have those, you would just kind of do a click, right click, and insert. So if you wanted to add gloves, are going to be another, let's say 35 cents. Okay, it's going to just plunk it in the spreadsheet there for you. Okay, now the cost per client. This was just kind of ballpark figures of based on my own profit and loss report from 2024. Okay, so that's how I get my $32 an hour. I took all of my expenses for the year of 2024. I divided it by the amount of clients I served, and that's how I got my $32 per client cost. Okay, so that's going to include everything from rent, utilities, insurance, marketing, software, subscriptions, sanitization stuff, everything. Okay, so that's probably the easiest way to do if you have already been tracking your expenses in a accounting system. Just take your totals from last year and look at your booking system, and it should tell you how many clients that were checked out that year. And yeah, you can just do a quick rundown. And then the cost per service. Okay, like I said, you do not want to be underpricing yourself, undervaluing yourself. So up here, I plunked in $30. Now we find out that the average rate for a Canadian to survive in this day and age is going to be around $36 an hour. So times 2 is the amount of hours that it took for me to complete that service. Now, I believe in the new updated spreadsheet, I did actually break it down for you. So you're going to have access to an empty spreadsheet. Okay, so if it was $36 per hour and it takes me 2 hours to complete a classic lash set, my price should be around it's saying $116. So it should be around $120 for a classic lash set for me to complete. Okay. Now, what I'm starting to see a lot in the industry, because tips are getting a very bad rep because there's so many people adding tips to their electronic payment system that maybe don't qualify. Like, I don't know. It's very, what's the word? Controversial right now with tipping. So if you are one of those people who feel like you don't want to be accepting tips, you can definitely add your own gratuity. In that case, I've just added another column here showing that if there was a 15% gratuity included, which should be considered because you are providing an excellent service to your client. And that's going to lead you to be around the $35 per set range. Okay. So fun facts. If you are expecting a client to be just adding their own tip, the majority of people only do maybe $5 or a 10% tip. They don't know how much to be charging. So in reality, I mean, you can go ahead and you can just start charging with tip included. You can say it's not necessary, but if they feel like they want to add a little bit more and give you a little bit more of a bonus, that's going to be completely up to them. So the way how you go about your business and pricing, there's so many different ways you can do this, as you can see. I'm going to just go over the fill prices here. So this is just a very quick rundown of the spreadsheet. So again, it's going to be the same variable costs as it was for a full set as opposed to fills. The only difference is going to be your time. Okay, so if we were to do, I'm going to change that to $36 an hour. It should take you about 1 hour to do a classic lash fill. Which is going to bring your service cost to be about $80. Okay, so you should not be charging less than $80 for a classic lash fill in this day and age. Okay, so again, this price is also going to be different from lash tech to lash tech, and that's going to be based on their cost per client. Okay, not everybody has $32 cost per client. Like, that could be different. It could be more around a $9 mark if they don't have things like insurance and whatnot to pay, which there you can see the spreadsheet just knocked their fill price from $80 down to $57. Okay. So if you've ever taken a lash course with me, you're gonna kind of already have a little bit of understanding how to come up with these numbers. So this is gonna just kind of make sense to you. But if this is the first time that you've really gone over your costs and you are a little bit confused, please let me know. Okay, so how was that? Let me just make sure I went through all the slides. That was it. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining me today in this video. I know it just took a little bit longer and I had some technical difficulties with my mic. So thank you for bearing with me. So yes, if you have any sort of questions or comments about this, or you need to get access to that handy dandy spreadsheet that I am so kindly offering to you, please you can get a hold of me either through the email or text message, or just drop a comment, whatever you want to do. And yeah, I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.